to mind initially is a religious reference from Mother Teresa. And I will paraphrase that because I think it speaks to that little part that my family plays and the little part that every family plays. And her analogy was about the ocean and how if you take a drop of water out of the ocean, it's still the ocean, but it's not quite the same. And I'm paraphrasing that because every single contribution that's been made from the revolution to today is one of those little drops of water. And you take that drop of water out of the country, and we're still the United States of America. Not quite the same, but every single one of those drops of water makes a contribution to the ocean. And the people you see behind me, every one of those stories are a drop of water. The story of my family, just the William Cordero, Kathleen, Carol Cordero, D'Ambrosi story, the marriage that they had, the 5 kids they had, that little drop of water is part of American history. The other part is the story of Anthony D'Ambrosi, the older brother of my stepdad, the guy that my mom married after my dad was killed. Little drop of water. He died fighting in the South Pacific, helping to free us from the threat of tyranny from the Japanese. From the days of the Revolution, and I don't have it committed to memory, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 20, 30,000 casualties that the colonies suffered during the Revolution. To this very day, there have been approximately a million Americans who gave their lives in hostilities. Those are all a million drops of water in that big ocean. The other drops of water are the families who, or the sacrifices that service members have given, testing out a new aircraft, or hopping in the capsule of a spaceship that's going to go to the moon, but instead it blows up on the launch pad and they all give their lives. Or the truck driver, or the school teacher, or the doctor, the accountant, the lawyer. Every single one of those drops of water are what Mother Teresa was talking about. She was talking about the world. I'm talking about the United States. And that equity stake that we have is different. It's painful, but it's part of that big ocean. Do I wish that it was something different? Sure. I wish my dad had become the mayor of Santa Barbara like he wanted to, because that would have been a different drop of water. I wish that my life had been different in some ways in what I had chosen to do professionally. But what I've done is become one of those drops of water. And if in doing that, in that little drop of water, we can provide something to the Gold Star families, most immediately, the Gold Star families from the Vietnam War, but also set a standard and become friends with and build a bridge with other Gold Star families before Vietnam and afterwards, then that makes their lives a little bit better, and their drop of water is a little more meaningful. I'll tell you a story. Here we are, the first week of September 2025, and there are still today in America a handful, limited handful, of Gold Star children from World War I who are alive today. They're 106, 107, 108 years old, probably sitting on a rocking chair someplace in the Appalachians, somewhere like that. But they can tell you memories of their daddy going off to fight in France and being buried far away and never being able to go see their grave, their dad's grave. And one of my hopes when I found this out several years ago, and it's a failure that I regret tremendously, but when I realized that there were still some of those Gold Star children from World War I thought, wouldn't it be powerful to create a drop of water in that American ocean and surround that World War I Gold Star child with some from World War II, from the Korean War, from Vietnam, from the Gulf War, and the War on Terror, and create that picture that tells the story of America's Gold Star families from the birth of this Gold Star concept to the present day. We can't go back and get those who fought to win our independence, or the War of 1812, or the Civil War, or the Spanish American War, or any of the other conflicts. We can't get them, but we had an opportunity to find Gold Star families from World War I and surround them in that picture. And I said it, and I know that people who heard me say it, they say, there goes Tony, he's off on a tangent about some wild, crazy idea. I just regret that when we look at America 250, we won't be able to have that picture as part of that drop in the American ocean. But nonetheless, all the drops that you see here, all the drops that we've been able to help have a little bit better outlook on life, ease the pain of the loss that they had in their drop of water, that tells me that we've done something good and we've made our contribution to the 250 years of the United States of America.